Zach Shank from the Sunshine State Athletic Association. Now, you've all heard of the FHSAA, the Florida High School Athletic Association. This is an alternative, particularly for smaller schools or specialty schools and so on and so forth, to still compete at a level where the competition, there's a level playing field, and that's important. But Zach, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Excited to be down here and get an opportunity to promote what we have and discuss some upcoming events.
Well, I hear the staff talking all the time about so favorably about your organization, what you guys do. And by the way, the Tampa Bay Bucks are looking for an offensive lineman. I think you would probably fit the bill. You're a big dude. But on to the Sunshine State Athletic Association. It's really an opportunity for families, for kids, for the parents and so on to be involved in an organization where you're competing against athletes, and some of them world-class athletes, by the way, at a level that there's parity, if you will, a great word, parity. Oh, we got a little thunder there rolling. That's not my stomach, everybody, even though it is lunchtime here. Anyway, you've got to be excited about your new position, but tell us where you came from.
Yeah, so spent 12 years in the high school athletic realm as an athletic director. Prior to that, I was an assistant at Trinity Baptist College in Jacksonville in the men's basketball team. And so wanted to take an opportunity to get involved with high school athletes, and became an athletic director at the age of 24. Had no idea what I was doing, and thrown into it, and it just kind of excelled from there. Yeah. And had the opportunity to relocate to Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was a athletic director and a basketball coach there. And originally from Jacksonville, got the opportunity to move back, and so we moved back home and became an athletic director at Eagles View Academy there in Jacksonville. And in the meantime, a board position opened up with the SSAA, and I was named vice president of the board, and had no idea what I was doing, but filled a void and a gap for them. And before I knew it, they were looking at an opportunity, and I kind of thought about it, and I said, this might be a good idea. And so ended up talking to the board about it, submitted resume, and went through the interview process, and now here I am. So excited for that opportunity, but definitely come from a background of athletics. My entire life playing sports. Moved on to the college realm and then worked there as well. So I enjoy athletics, and it's a good fun time.
So to make clear for folks that you're not competition for the FHSAA. In fact, you've got some schools that tend to go back and forth. This is sort of a sister organization, right? No? Yes?
I wouldn't call us a sister organization.
Parallel?
Because, I do believe that we will get to the point where schools will join us solely, but I do think some things need to continue to change, such as legislation and whatnot. And as schools have the choice to participate in different associations, that'll be really helpful. Right now, we do have a lot of our schools that are dual affiliated, right? They're going to still compete on the FHSA side, but then they have the opportunity to come down and compete with our championships and things like that as well, with the way that our system is ran. Now, from a football standpoint, if you are part of the SSAA within football, you are an SSAA member and you only compete at the SSAA level. Okay. So we did do that, and so we'll see. There were some conversations that maybe the rest of our sports continue to trend that direction, but it will take some time and some growth before that happens. But I could see some things like that moving that direction.
The official rules, where do they come from? Do you model or utilize the FHSAA rules, or do you have different rules, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, in the world of athletics, nothing is our own, right? We steal and borrow from everybody, and so the policies and procedures and bylaws were established back a long time ago. And we started around 2010 with a handful of football schools, and that's what originated, within the SSAC at the time. And so as things have grown, we've had to add in some extra, words and verbiage for our policies and procedures. But a lot of them, we look at other state associations. What out there is similar to us, right? Is there a state association in Alabama, in North Carolina, wherever it may be? And we look and see what their policies and procedures look like, and then we fit it to where we need it in ours. But from anything from a state statute standpoint, it's all, mandated down. It doesn't matter. FHSA is going to have the same one. We're going to have the same one because that's been mandated by, state statutes and things like that.
Well, that clarifies it.
Yeah.
So before we run out of time, I want to make sure we talk about why you are in town this weekend.
Yeah.
So the big invitational at the field house right now, not just SSAA schools, but also other schools from around the area. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Volleyball Invitational is starting today, and in fact kicks off at 2 o'clock with our first game. So we've got 44 total schools that are coming and participating in that event, which is great. And so this is, in a sense, an invite opportunity for them. They get 5 games in 2 days, playing schools from all over the state of Florida. A school that might be up in Jacksonville, right? And they don't get to travel, but they come down here. They're going to play a team from Tampa, a team from, Miami, wherever it may be. We actually have a team from Pensacola that's made the trip over here to participate in that. So several schools. It's a really good event. Advent Health is a phenomenal facility. They put a great event on for us. I walked in there early this morning and everything was done. I didn't have to lift a finger. So I can't complain about that. But our staff does a really good job, putting everything together. Steph Martin is our volleyball coordinator, and she's done a phenomenal job. Was a longtime coach down in Fort Myers area, and so she's put this event together, and it's really just taken off. And we hope to see this thing grow. I think we've got 11 courts being used over there today.
And it's great timing because on the high school level, you don't often get a lot of 2-day, five game. Get all your sets in, really get to run everybody out there on the court.
Right.
So it's just perfect timing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we look at everything and match teams up evenly. And you talked about level playing field. That's one thing that we are about. And, for instance, I mentioned I was at the school in Jacksonville, and when FHSA reran the districts, they put us in a district with a 9-time state champ, team that has produced NFL players. It just doesn't make sense. They have 600 in high school. We had 150. How does that work?
Yeah.
And it's just not.
It doesn't.
Right, exactly. And so until some things change there, we're going to see a trend of people continuing to come our direction, which is just going to help us with growth.
Question I've been dying to ask you, the proliferation of these academies, more private schools and this type of stuff, particularly in Florida, but I'm going to drill down even further. In Polk County, they have McKeel Academy, they have this academy, they have so many, which I think is just a tremendous idea versus the standard. If you live in Ocala, you go to, Ocala High School and everybody just is bundled into that group. But now we're seeing, especially here, so many of these academies. Has that led to more growth for the Sunshine State Athletic Association?
It has. One of the positive things is more of these academies, pop up in a sense. Obviously, our growth is going to increase. The other side of that, though, is they have to meet a standard of new membership, right? They got to. They have to go through, they got to be moved by the board after the board checks all of their information. They have to have 3 recommendations. So we tell a school when they call us to say, hey, you need to go out and you need to play some SSAA member schools, right? Then you can get your 3 recommendations. You get those recommendations in your application and you submit it to us. We take a look at it. Hey, I'm looking for, and this happens, right? I know you guys have seen it or heard about it. You get a school, they have 20 kids in it. They're applying for a basketball membership or just membership in general, but their primary sport's basketball. They got 20 kids in the school. They got 15 kids on their roster. That looks a little funny, right? So we look through those things like that. Are you a reputable school? Do you have good recommendations? Things like that. But as those smaller academies begin to grow and things like that, I think obviously our membership will grow. And then it gets sent out for a vote to all of our schools, and they have a chance to vote on their new application. And if they're a good fit, then they'll be moved through for full membership, and they spend a couple years on probation, and so on.
Let me ask one more question that's kind of tied to that. The growth of homeschoolers. I mean, I was just up in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago for the Division I National Water Ski Champion, Show Ski Championships. The individual competitors, I would say 15% of them were homeschool kids, or were homeschooled, past tense, and all of that type of stuff. Has that played a factor as well?
So we consider them non-traditionals, and we have non-traditional athletes, and so they will join us and play at their school. We are seeing a lot of those forms come through there. It's kind of new to me on this side of it. I spoke earlier, I was in North Carolina. North Carolina homeschool students could not participate at high schools or academies. They had their own leagues. Now you could play them as a team and it could go on your schedule, but they had their own divisions, they had their own championships and things like that. It's kind of nice because it was controlled, and you just didn't have a rogue, homeschooler or non-traditional student just doing whatever. But as we see, more people kind of shifting in that direction, it has grown, and a lot of our smaller schools are able to fill and field teams because of the non-traditional route.
I'm a big fan of it, but I got to tell you, and all of our viewers out there, what Polk County has here in these sort of non-traditional schools and academies and so on and so forth is not the norm. It's just not. And I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for kids that know where they want to go, what they want to do, and so on. My youngest son, who's a captain in the Air Force right now, active duty, just assigned to the B-1 bomber. But he went to the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, and that was the track he wanted to go, career track. He's a pilot, all that stuff. But it's a special thing about Polk County. So kudos to the school board, kudos to the county commissioners for endorsing that, growing that, because I think it's needed, and I think it's just a great, great program. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, absolutely.